and I was on the phone. I saw the phone ringing, and I couldn't answer it. It cancelled. Then you rang again straight away, and I thought,
because I just couldn't believe what was happening. So I had to ring you.
And you tell them what happened afterwards. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well, whatever you may be up to today. So I tell you what, as far as today's video goes, this is going to be a video which, I'll be honest, I never thought was going to get made. And I never thought it was going to get made mainly because of the potential fallout that it could generate. Hopefully it won't generate any negative fallout, because I don't want this channel to sort of be about that. That's not what this is supposed to be about. But the video that we're actually talking about is the video that I made about total loss situations, you know, about cars getting total lost for minimal damage, shall we say, or damage that potentially shouldn't make cars a total loss. Just get out of that junction. Well, yeah, I was sort of saying about cars getting written off for what looks like minimal damage. I think I'd probably put a bit more emphasis on it in my life, because I used to do that job for sort of 6 years, and I was in that insurance world for a long time. But there does seem to be a lot of it go on. So we made that video because it was an interesting situation, and I think by the sound of it, a few other YouTubers have made videos about it recently. So it's obviously an area that a lot of people think about, either within the motor industry or that have gone for insurance claims. And it's not a nice thing to go through. Having your car written off is stressful. You've got to go and find something else. Have you got a courtesy car in between? It's a stressful situation. It ain't nice. So we made that video about that situation. And I'll tell you what, the main guy, shall we say, that video was sort of surrounded by was the guy who owned the Audi S3. Now, I didn't ever think anything else was going to come of this, but he reached out recently and he said he was going to be in the area. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've actually met that guy through YouTube. Sort of shows how powerful this platform is, because ever since starting this channel, I've been approached by certain car dealers, and I've seen some at auction, and they're like, "Oh, hello, what's your channel?" Blah blah blah. It's really nice. Well, I mean, I was fairly naive, I suppose, to not realise how powerful social media actually is. But since starting this YouTube channel, I've started to realise. But nothing like what happened after I made that video. And I'll tell you what I was saying, the guy who that was sort of surrounded by that video, he reached out recently. Now, he lives a long way away, he lives a lot of hours away. But he said he was going to be in the area at a certain point, and he was going to come and say hello. So he did exactly that. And he said whilst he was in the area, he'd be quite happy to do a follow-on of the video that we did about that total loss situation. So we're now on our way to work. He is already there. I think he said he's going to meet us there, and then we'll sort of have a quick chat. And I haven't met him before, so we're now on our way to work, and we shall have a chat, and then we'll go over exactly what happened. But I think the reality of what happened after that video, I mean, I don't see how any other situation would have arisen like this because of anything other than a YouTube video. And you could argue with a business until you're blue in the face to get what you think is the right decision within a situation, and they'll never listen. You can take them to court, you can do this, they'll never listen. And yet somehow, I don't want to say too much. Let's go to work, we'll meet him, and we'll carry on. Well, he's here already, because that is his car. So I would imagine that Claire's probably let him in the office. So he must be in there. Let's go see him. Oh, look at that little car. How cool is that little car? Let's go see him. Oh, here we are. So this is, well, I can't say what. We've never met before, right? And I'm not gonna put this man's name on camera because of what we're about to talk about. But I'll just let me put my tripod down quickly. Put this in a position where we can both be seen. And also, quickly, nice to meet you. We'll have a chat in a minute. So just quickly, I've just done an introduction to this in my van on the way. And for those of you, this man obviously has seen the video that we made, or that I made about insurance, which I've just introduced on the way here. But we're going to get into it a little bit more because it needs to be investigated, should we say. It needs to be elaborated. So I'll tell you what, I'm just going to quickly, I feel a bit rude, I'm just going to turn the camera off now just to say hello and stuff because we haven't sort of met, I want to catch up. And then we'll come back. We've had a little introduction now. We're mates now. So just a quick overview, right, of what happened before. I made that total loss video about cars being total lost for no apparent reason. I made that for
minor stuff.
It's more like I made the video because of how many years that particular situation has built up in my head. Why are they writing everything off?
Yeah.
So I haven't said so. This guy only got in contact with me through YouTube. You know, I've never met him before. He watches a lot of car channels. And that's like the power of YouTube, which is mad to me because it's all new to me.
Yeah.
And for you to sort of reach out anyway, just to say hello was nice enough. But when you went through that situation, because I'd heard it numerous times, you know, probably once a month from people, and you just think, you know, why is this all going on? So that's why we made that video.
Yeah.
What people don't know about the particular events of that claim, which I haven't said with you, as far as that claim had gone, when I made that video, your car had been involved in an accident.
Yeah.
You had contacted your insurance company. It had been collected.
Yeah.
It had been inspected.
Yeah.
Valued. You'd agreed the value.
Yeah.
You'd had an email. I mean, I should probably be letting you say this, but I'm so about it that it's all sort of in my head because this is quite a big process that you've gone through, emotionally and everything else. You've had a total loss value. Your car's been categorised as a Cat S.
Yeah.
All that's been done.
Yeah.
The title has been put as a Cat S on the car, which you checked.
It showed on HPR, yeah.
You had been in contact with your gap insurance because you'd only had the car a very little amount of time.
Yeah.
And obviously they're going to knock you down a little bit because unfortunately insurance companies do. And then you told me, you'd got to a position where you'd agreed the value, you knew what you were getting, but you hadn't been paid out.
Correct.
And you bought another car because of it.
Yeah. And
it weren't no $3,000 58 plate Mondeo, was it?
No.
So he'd gone out and spent what, 20 large?
21.
On another replacement car for the S3 because he knew that he was getting the payout for that Audi. Then he phoned me up, or I think I phoned you up, didn't I? I think I phoned you up to say how are you?
See how it was going, yeah.
And you were like, I'm all right apart from my car's been written off, you've been in an accident, you're a bit sore, just because of, you can have a crash at 5 miles an hour and get jerked the wrong way.
Yeah.
Sent me some pictures of the car and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
How is that a total loss? And the same thing came up again as it had over and over again. So I made a video about it. Luckily for me, and this is luckily for me, I sent the video to this man before it went live, didn't I?
It was very interesting.
But you said I could use your photos.
Yeah.
You said the video was all right.
Yeah.
And then I published it. The next day, so I published that at 6 o'clock, whatever, on a day which I can't remember. The next day, I had a phone call from this man.
I think it was the afternoon the next day.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I was on the phone. I saw the phone ringing, and I couldn't answer it. It cancelled. Then you rung again.
Yeah.
Straight away. And I thought,
because I just couldn't believe what was happening. So I had to ring you.
And you tell the listeners what that phone call was about.
So must have been about half an hour before I contacted Kevin. My insurance company had phoned me and basically said, we've seen something. They didn't specify exactly what at the time. We've seen something and we decided your vehicle is actually repairable, and you'll have a courtesy car with you in the next hour. Bearing in mind, when I had the accident, I'd asked for a courtesy car and they didn't. They basically blatantly said, no, it's your fault, so we're not giving you a courtesy car. But then as soon as they decided to repair the car, that was it. Courtesy car was literally with me within an hour. They dropped it off. And that was that, really.
What did they say how did they get round the fact of the day before, the car's total lost, it's clearly not repairable, it's gone to Salvage. Did it go to Salvage?
It was in a site in Norwich.
Okay, so a holding site, or was that the actual Salvage yard?
I think it was a holding site, but I mean, obviously Norwich is quite a way away from me.
Yeah, massive distance, isn't it? Yeah. So where are you based in the country?
Like Nottingham way.
Right, so a massive distance. Yeah. Norwich is not actually that far away from here.
Exactly, yeah.
And so they've done all of that.
Yeah.
And then because of the video, which had no means of identifying that car, they said they're going to repair it.
Yeah.
Now, not only do I not understand why they did that, the biggest thing that I don't get is that I made that video to prove a point which a lot of other YouTubers have made recently.
Yeah.
Why do cars keep getting written off?
Exactly.
And the worst thing that any insurance company could have done is confirmed that was right. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
Because of some naive little idiot, i.e. me, making a random YouTube video, made a multinational company turn around on their decision, all of that admin, all of that, just to confirm that what was being said in the first place was right.
Yeah. The only way they could identify the car was from the photos, because the same photos I sent you were the ones I sent them. That's the only way they could identify it.
So they hadn't even properly inspected the car?
No. It was only until 3 or 4 days later, I think, when they actually took it to somewhere to get inspected. But at that time, it also had been transferred from a site in Norwich to a site nearer to me. I think it was Lincoln. And then it was also then transferred to another site in Derby. And then it went to Loughborough. So it went like 4 different sites in the time span of about 4 days.
That is absolutely bonkers.
Bear in mind, the car wouldn't have been driven. It would have lifted it the whole time.
Wow.
Because the car basically was a non-runner at the time.
So that was because of a little coolant hose or something like that.
Yeah. There was 3 or 4 hoses that had broken.
Right. But as far as the actual car goes, the damage was not bad at all, was it?
No.
It really wasn't.
No.
You know, you could look. It might have been if it was £1,000 worth of Mini Cooper with 140,000 miles on. Yeah. I'd appreciate that. Yeah. I would get that. But from what we could ascertain of the pictures, I know, there's ABI guidelines. It gets all complicated with vehicle damage. But from what I could see, that weren't no Cat S. And they've just put a Cat S on it for the sake of Salvage, getting their return, blah, blah, blah. Which almost doesn't make sense because they would actually get more return for a Cat N.
Yeah.
But we won't get into that. That's not what this video is about. It's just more about the point that what we said was wrong clearly was wrong. Yeah. So after all of this happened, right, because if that was me, I would have been furious about that situation, mainly because you'd already spent the money. I mean, you were in a very lucky position to a point of being able to afford to buy a car before you have got that payout.
Yeah.
But when you've got an email notification, confirmation that your car is a total loss, confirmation about the money you're getting, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So if you can, you go and buy a new car, don't you? I would have been furious to have, because from what what did you say to the insurance company when they said they were going to repair it? Because most people in that situation, once a car has been confirmed, they don't want it back.
That's what I said to them. I said, I don't want it back. I bought a new car. I'm expecting to be collected in the next 2-3 days. If you decide that you are going to repair the vehicle, then I want it done in a sensible time span. As some of you will know, insurance companies do take a while to repair vehicles. But I mean, the main guideline on why they said it was so expensive to repair in the first place was because they said the headlight that was damaged was a £3,000 headlight. But when I contacted Audi myself to find out what one would cost, they said £900 plus VAT. So straight from that, you can see they've tried to raise the price of repair just to write it off.
Trying to pull the wool over your eyes, as it were. So even that's naughty. But did you? So when they said they were going to repair it, did you try and say that you weren't going to accept it?
I said to them, I'm not going to accept it either way. And they said, well, you'll have to pay your excess. And I said, well, I'm not going to pay my excess. And eventually we came to an agreement, well, I'll get the car back, but I won't pay my excess. So I ended up not paying my excess, which at the time was £1,200.
Well, from what I can remember with our conversation, because I felt so bad, I mean, as far as I was concerned, this was all my fault. I know I sent you the video before and you said it's fine, Kev, but I felt awful. And I would have quite happily done everything in my power. See, I started this channel. I never started this channel to cause any hassle. I started it as like a car trade and daily in and out, the grind of what?
Day in the life.
Yeah. And but these things keep coming up, and when they come up, I make little videos about.
Yeah.
But that particular one, you told them that you weren't going to accept that car back.
Correct.
What did they say?
Well, that's what they basically said. They said, I've got to accept it either way. They've sent it, at that time, they had sent it to the repairer to be repaired at that point. I think this was like a day or two afterwards. And the repairer had contacted me to say, we've got your car, we've started to strip it. And then as soon as they said to start to strip it, I was like, right, well, this is it then. I'm going to have to have it back, aren't I? Which is when I then contacted my insurance. Well, I'm not paying my excess.
That is absolutely mad. It's mad on it because we all watch other channels, and when you've got the likes of Save and Salvage that made that video with his S1 and his Polo.
Yes. Yeah.
Both Cat S's, clearly not Cat S's. He's making videos to say, this ain't right. Something needs to be done about categorisation. Clearly that's right. And then you've got Salvage Rebuilds that bought that van as a Cat S. And I felt for them guys because there is a certain amount of gamble when you buy a car off a salvage site. That van was nothing other than a Cat B car. That needed a body shell.
I wasn't even broken apart. I think it was straight in the shredder, to be honest.
Exactly.
It was that bad.
It was that bad. And you start thinking, well, say the wrong individual bought that van, shall we say, and they decided to repair it incorrectly, which we all know goes on. We know it goes on. And you think if that van was repaired incorrectly but looked all right, you could have pulled that out to a point of making gaps look all right.
Yeah.
But if that got hit again, that would have crumbled up like an envelope, folded straight up.
Yeah.
And you think at some point, is this only ever going to get a change? And it sounds horrific, but when someone is either hurt, really bad, paralysed, killed, whatever, because of an incorrectly repaired car, clearly something's got to be done about this. But I just never thought that a little video, which I made sitting right here, could have had that sort of influence on that sort of... I was blown away by it. But I mean, as of now, the sort of resolve of this, the car's been repaired.
It has been.
You said it was a brilliant job.
It was a brilliant job, yeah.
Really pleased with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't want the car anymore because you'd bought another one. So you had to sell it.
Yeah.
And
and now that's back out in the market for someone unsuspecting to go purchase it.
Yeah.
Not knowing it has had an accident prior because it's not registered anymore.
Yeah, which is also weird. It's been on a total loss marker. The marker's been removed.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't show up on any car checking sites. It shouldn't do because it's been removed. But I mean, there might be someone that sees that it had a marker put on it. I don't know.
Well, they would have HBR checked it when I sold it.
Yeah, it was clear, wasn't it?
Clear,
you did it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. At least we've had a cup of tea now.
Yeah.
Wine and Maryland biscuits. Although you didn't have no biscuits. That's just me. I live on biscuits, which is bad. I need to get sponsored by Y Food. Like that'd be amazing. So I could just pop one of them every day. Just in case you're listening. Y Food. I'll put it in every video. I do eat a lot of bad stuff. So we just had to stop, have a little bit. Oh, I left the milk out. So we just had to stop, have a little bit of a cup of tea, a little bit of a catch up, because I don't really know I don't want anything to come out of this video. I would love it if a load of people said we need to do something about this. Salvage categories need to be revised.
Yeah.
But I also appreciate that when I was doing that engineering job, all insurance companies wanted to do. How many phones have you got? Oh, we'll pause this.
Yeah.
Answer it.
No.
There might be a customer. Answer it. It might be a... I made myself sound like a really old person. How many phones you? It's my watch ringing. The worst thing is I've got one as well.
Exactly, yeah.
I have that on. I have to have that because when I'm stuck in a Hoover all day, I used to miss calls all the time.
Same, that's why I'm
And then if your watch rings, you feel like Michael Knight, do you? I bet you don't even know who Michael Knight is, do you? No. Let's not talk about that. That's really upsetting. You don't even know Knight Rider. Anyway, there's clearly a much bigger problem here than any one person will be able to sort out. Yeah. And the salvage market is so massive now. I don't want to upset anyone in the salvage market either, because that's clearly grown to such a level that nothing will probably be able to be done about it ever until something horrific happens. Mm. But the main reason I wanted to make this video, and just so you know, because he's here, obviously he agreed as well on doing it. I just couldn't believe that what that video did.
How
Full
powerful
stop.
it actually was.
Couldn't believe how powerful it was. Never in my wildest dreams did I think it would have that. Do you know what? If I knew it was going to have that sort of effect, I wouldn't have made it. Yeah. Because I felt really bad for you. Horrendous for you. Even though you were beyond amazing about it. You were like, well, it is what it is.
But yeah, at this point, I just couldn't care.
I would have hit the roof. I would have been furious because of this, because I couldn't believe it was happening. And you were like, well, it is what it is. It's got to be done now. So thank you for that, because you made me feel a bit better.
It's all right, I couldn't get. I mean, obviously this year, as I mentioned to you, I'm potentially buying another S3. So, well, it was a cool car, though, wasn't it? You loved it. I loved it. Yeah, I had it for
beautiful car.
3.5 weeks.
19-year-old driving cars like that. Yeah. Selling cars. Car dealer himself. Just so you know, he is a car dealer. That's mad. And you've done really well.
So it was on finance, but.
Yeah, but you still owned it. You still managed to, and for what you've done at 19, hands down. 20 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to do this because people didn't take young people seriously. You know, it was, times have changed, and I'm old now, older, but it's good that people are embracing younger people, because it opens up so many doors for people to do what they want, rather than getting flushed out by the school system and thinking when you leave school, I've got to go and get a 9 to 5 because that's what you do. People are coming out and getting self-employed and stuff. Mega, isn't it?
Well, that's what everyone says. I mean, everyone's like, school's important, school's this, college is that, uni's that. Not necessarily. It varies on what you actually want to do.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Especially if you're not necessarily academically gifted, because some people are gifted at other stuff. Yeah. And now in the modern world, a lot of them can do it one way or another. But digressed a little bit there. Anyway, well, I'll tell you what, for now, we're going to say thank you for this man for coming in. Thank you to this man for coming in, even though we're not going to say your name because we don't want to get you in trouble for any reason. I mean, if you've got any questions, if you agree with us, and clearly we had a lot of comments on that last video. I had people phoning me up, asking me to help them out with their insurance claims. Clearly, this is something that happens to the general public every day. Yeah. And it ain't right. And we're paying massive insurance premiums because of it. You know, because of the shortfalls. Yeah, there's a load of stuff that goes into it, but there's definitely a big part of the shortfalls of claims having to be settled on cars that should be getting written off.
Going up and up and up as well.
Exactly that. So yeah, so if you've liked what's going on, hit a comment, hit the subscribe button if you like what's going on here. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know what you think about this one, and I'll see you on the next one. He won't see you on the next one. I don't know what the next one is, but I don't think you'll be going home. Mate. Yeah. It's got a 4-hour drive to go home now. So thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
needs to be done.
It did. You're right.
Conclusion.